Boy, morning everybody. We're back. I am glad I'm back. Apparently I deleted some. I didn't even realize I deleted that, which is not the worst thing in the world. I just deleted my sketch layer. Too much. I need to do that more actually. Ugh. I need to make sketch cells. I need to make sketch cells or sketch animations more. That might be something I will do in the future. Maybe even today. We'll see. But I actually have one more. I have one more frame. I have one more keyframe. And I think I really like that. I really like sketching out my keyframes quite a bit. That's what I particularly like. Uh, and I think I'm starting to understand maybe a little bit better things like animation sheets because I think I now understand since animation is all about timing, understanding timing. Whilst I'm very much do a little bit here, take a little bit there. Uh, Knowing how long an action will take is pretty key, and I'm starting to get a better sense of that. So welcome to the stream, everyone. Host Isaac MCCanary. We're gonna do some animation. We're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna do some drawing. And yeah, it should be a good time. Uh, uh Working on that, and gonna go from there. And we'll probably I'll discuss something at some point. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. We'll figure it out. Nothing it's nothing major. I just want to be able to say something at some point, but I don't know when to say it. Probably not. But we'll focus on working first. We'll focus on working first, I think. That'll be a good starting point. For now, I need to remake this. To apologize for the schniffiness. My It's funny, I feel like I wasn't having bad allergies. Like, I was having okay allergies, actually. I was not having that bad of a time with allergies until pretty much today. Today is the first day that I was like, oh god, they're bad. Oh god, it's really bad. It's been bad. Wait, well, maybe they do exist. Weird. Starters, that's not where I wanted to put that. Why will it not put the... Weird. That was very odd. I don't know why that was having an issue. Okay, I need to do this. Well, actually, the irony. I did need it there. Ah. Oh. So I don't think I quite understand exactly how this program works sometimes because of this right here. It's like, oh. Oh, it's because of this. Hold on. I figured out the problem, guys. We're good. That's right. I remember why that's like that. I think I have to do something different. Hello! Oh, Kirby. Come cheerleader. Let's get cherry pie. Lala, welcome home, party sensation. Your throat is sore. My throat isn't sore. Just sniffly and buckly and tired, mainly. Actually, I'm doing pretty okay as far as that's concerned, I feel like. I feel like right now, the main issue is just that I'm like a, a, a mess when it comes to allergy allergy sensation right now is not good. Allergy sensation is not good. Actually, we probably want that there, yeah. Because this here really doesn't matter how long. I need to be able to go from this to that. Also put on onion. Onion. on that layer. Why would it... What? Okay. That's working as intended. Oh, is it because there's not a layer? That's very silly. There we go. I didn't... Oh. That is doing there. There we go. We're just going to put that there for now, and we're going to deal with it later. But I need to now essentially work on my keyframe. I either need to work on my keyframe... Yeah, no. You do your keyframe, and then I'm going to go straight ahead from that. Actually, at some point, and this might be... I think for now, I need to get the whole motion in, and then I'm going to do detail work after. Detail work means I'm going to add blinking. I'm going to add subtler expressions throughout. But for now, I need to get the full motion through. The full motion is she walks on screen, she looks at you, she judges, then she does something, and then she walks off screen. I get that done first. Then we go back, I add blinks, I add maybe some facial denotations, any kind of small little animations, smaller animations. Go back and I add those then. And then we color it. But for now, I just need to get the full motion. I just need to get the full motion, and then I need to add the, like, because things like blinking, things like subtler motion effects are something that I care about, that I definitely will have, but not right now. Not right now. I don't need those yet. And maybe, if I get this done pretty quick today, what I will probably do is we will work on a sketch for something if I get this done pretty quick. Or I'll do that on my own. I'm not saying I will, but I've been inundated with other projects, i.e. projects that... This is something... I don't know if I've actually mentioned this. And it's getting close to the end of that project, actually, which is good. But I still have a little bit more work to do. I'm definitely over halfway done with it. Part of the reason why I haven't been able to work on a video right now. Which, as soon as that's done, I'm going to finish the video, and then I'll be able to work more on this on my own. Hopefully, before something else goes wrong. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But, I could say without a reasonable doubt that right now, Twitch is in a bit of a situation with me. And I don't know, I've been kind of hesitant to talk about it. I haven't heard anybody really talk about it on their own streams. I don't know if it's like kind of like people are just dealing with it, whatever. I feel like I mentioned it on Discord. I did mention it on Discord, but I don't think I really talked about what's going on. Have I? Have I talked about this? Does anybody know about what's going on? You guys know what's going on? Because I feel like nobody's discussed it, and it's really bothersome to me that it's a thing happening at all, and it's really eating my time, I think, is where I'm at. When I'm like, I still feel like I need to mention this, even if I have before, and that it is a real problem, and that it's eaten a lot of time that I could have been using working on this, that I could have been using working on other things. It's really bothersome. And it's caused a lot of problems. It's caused a crap ton of problems for me. So Twitch, largely, I get it. I get both sides of the camp, but I still don't agree with it because it sort of is like, I don't agree with the assertion that just because you can rationalize why something is happening does not mean that it is still okay. Because what is happening is still not necessarily okay, since it is still a form of erasure, and I think is a bad solution. It is just because something is a solution, or just because someone stated it was not the intent of the platform, I do not think that the right thing to do is to deny what ended up being the case. So, essentially, all of my work over the last, 6 years is in jeopardy. because Twitch does not want to save long-term VODs anymore. They just don't. And what's funny is I had kicked around. I think I was like, man, I'd have to port everything over to YouTube, and it's all such old stuff. If people want to watch it, they can just watch it on Twitch. I want to focus on the new stuff that I'm doing now. Well, Twitch has decided for me that I can't do that, so now I have to very systematically export everything over to YouTube, which has had its own problems, some including the process, some including the consequences of having to port over a bunch of really old content that is still from an era whilst I would like to preserve as a point of, hey, this is where I'm at now, this is where I was, and this is where I'm at now. In doing so, has caused a bit of a situation in which it will probably also cause more harm than good to save it all. But I'm stubborn. I don't know. I feel like I have a personal obligation to the people and myself who watch what I do, that even if I'm necessarily not directly representing content that I made when I first started, it still is content that I made, and I had to make that content to get where I am now. And also, I've heard, I think Sean kind of put it this way, and I agree with him totally, is I might not even necessarily like all the content that I did, but if somebody does, who am I to keep them from seeing something that they enjoy? It's because it's not really what I want to represent anymore. Does not mean that if I feel like you can't enjoy it, you can enjoy old me if you want to. I will always try to service to make it exist, but it does not mean that I think it should be erased. And this is something that I think will help me, or maybe hurt me, we'll see, is just kind of being like, well, so I made some stuff when I was younger that I didn't know what I was doing, that I wasn't taking seriously, and thus can be open to criticism for that. I think it's important to remember, and if anybody was to be like, what the fuck? I'd be like, well, I was younger, I don't do that anymore. And unless it becomes that much of an issue, then I'm like, okay, fine, I will just remove it. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing, because that'll just mean that people would make the same mistakes I did. Right? Like, or I would be just destroying a part of myself because it was younger and less mature and less capable of being able to understand what they were doing wrong, which is totally fair. I think everybody has that. So, in being something like scared or ashamed that I made stuff like that would completely be dismissive to everything that I've done. It'd be completely dismissive. We all have times, I think, where we make or do things not thinking that it would be important later, and that's a part of growing up anyways, but I think it's still better to be like, well, I'm not that anymore. I think that's what's more important to remember, is like, but I'm not that anymore. Maybe I will just unlist them, I don't know. Maybe if something goes particularly bad, I'll just unlist videos that are not very popular. That is always an option, but I do want to be like, hey, if you, for whatever reason like this or like that, I will always have it available. It's something that I'm going to have to figure out, because I still don't think that removing all of that is the right choice. Even if this isn't about, like, for me, making stuff is something that I'm always going to do. And for me, I feel like I've spent a lot of time making things. Want to share them no matter what. All I've wanted to do is to be able to share things. Be a little bit like secured in knowing that, yeah, can and should share things. I feel like I've gotten a lot of flack for just trying to share things. I've never understood that, so. It's like people only want people to make and share good things, when in reality, not everyone does that, not everyone can do that, and in the process of learning how to make things, you're going to make some not good things. And in the process of making some good things, you'll sometimes still just make some not good things. That's another thing. I'm like, well, artists aren't perfect either. They don't, even if they make something that turns out really well, they don't make everything that turns out well. Maybe even if they only share the quote unquote good things they make, they probably have an entire trove of garbage. Which is why it's important to throw away your art a little bit, so that way you don't hold on to art that isn't going to hold you back, which, fair enough. Maybe that's something I might consider if this ends up blowing up in my face. Who knows? I feel like it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. The internet is getting like we kind of mentioned last night. The internet's kind of getting to a bit of a point that we put too much stuff on the internet. We put too much stuff on. I don't know how we did it, but we put too much stuff on the internet, and now there's too much stuff on the internet, and we can't keep all of it, or you can't find it even easily anymore. If a server dies or a forum dies, all that information is just gone forever. And just because it wasn't important to everyone doesn't mean it wasn't important to someone. You know? I don't know. All right, got that. This is our new. This is our new. How much I need. So let's see. Let's think about this. I want this to be like 2-ish seconds. So we're gonna go, we're at what, 135? We're gonna go to about 170, 180. Try that. That might be too much. We'll see. That's about 2-ish seconds. Let's see. 24 frames here would be. I could do math. I could do math. 59. Yeah, that'd be about 1 second. Like if I did like 1.5 seconds, maybe. That'd be another 12. 71. About there. We'll try that first. Yeah. We're just gonna focus. We're just gonna focus on what we're doing next. What I'm doing next is I'm gonna be moving this arm down. Do hope what I can do here. And this is something I want to get better at, is really paying attention to certain kind of things, thinking about what's happening next. One of the things I've had to train myself on a little bit better and to kind of like read into a little bit more is like thinking about, especially when I'm in this part, what the next action is, and not thinking about how to get from point A to point B, especially for something longer like this. Part of it is I have that onion skin, but I don't know if I need to have it on now. Or I don't know if I need to have it on all the way to green right now. That's also another thing that makes that little bit more finicky. And really, even when I go back, even if I go back to make a bunch of like adjustments or like add little things, I want to make sure that like I have all the actions I want in, and then I use that limitation to add subtle gestures. Like they don't need to be a lot. I don't want to add too much to it. I want it to focus on what it is, and I want it to be believable that I could attain this any reasonable time. That's the other thing is like I want to focus on being able to actually complete to a certain extent. It's good. It's good. I feel like I do feel bad for not doing anything last week. Last week was unfortunate. I just I got to Saturday and was like, and I don't know, man. Was not feeling it. I feel bad. Like that's not an excuse. I hate whenever I'm too tired to keep working, I guess. Especially when sometimes it feels like people can work endlessly and tirelessly. Even though I've gotten close to that, I still don't feel like I can actually do that. Um, like I do have limitations. Everybody does. Not to say that I'm the only one who does. Everybody does. It just sometimes feels like I I try to hold myself to a standard that I just don't think I have capacity to be able to keep up with. That's not a weakness. It's just a kind of thing that I'm like, no, I need to be able to disengage sometimes. And I mean, I'm getting to that point a little bit, but it's also one of those hard things where it's like, I don't want to also like seem like I'm just gonna be like done. That is kind of an issue here. Is like a lot of to get involved with like making things is still a lot of personal input, and if you're like, well, I just want to take a break. There's always this feeling that when you come back, you have to like almost restart. Like people aren't actually that patient. People don't wait. Like as soon as you are missing or don't show that you are around for a second, people are like, well, that guy's gone. Also doesn't help that, I think algorithm shit makes this very, very difficult. I do. I actually do. I don't know. I actually am processing a lot of thoughts right now, around now. So just know there's stuff always. There's some stuff always. It's just been stressful time. I think it's just been stressful time. Really, all I need to do is zen out and do animation, some drawing. This is where it might be helpful. Sometimes I think I need to remind myself that I'm allowed to like do things like this, where I just turn off a part of the onion skin. I don't need to see both. I just need to see like, the next step, and then some, or like the last step, and then sometimes I need to remind myself where it's going. I do need to start moving it that way anyways, but and whilst as far as I know, there isn't a short key, like a quick key for that kind of action. I think that's just probably going to be what I have to do to make it switch. Actually, I need this to like out a little bit that way. Always remember, if you're doing animation, you will get better at drawing a specific figure because you will be doing it a lot. Good news is I have to remember also I've got plenty of other work that I gotta do after this, but this will be the last. Like, this is ideal. This is where I want to be. Is like I do one more stream on Saturday. Honestly, I'm like I'll go for at least 3 hours, and I'm like I'm just gonna stream for as long. And in the sense of like I won't go over 4. I don't think I'll go over 4. But if I get any work progress done today, and I can only do like 2 hours, I'm gonna be fine. I'd rather that. There's other things I need to do. I still need to do the stream repair for Helldivers because I opted into that, and see, oopsie poopsie. That's actually my bad. That was. I have a weird stint of being just impatient enough to have not just been like, maybe if I just check one more time he was out there and he came in, I think it would have been fine. But sometimes that's just how it works. Sometimes that's how it goes. And really, the best thing I did there was okay, I did what mattered, I did what I needed to do, and then immediately went, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. And then I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. It wasn't that bad. Like, I still think that's bad. Shame. Shame. But, you know, at least I still got in some more time, and I just have to do another stream repair, which I joke. I joked in the last stream repair that I don't do stream repairs anymore, but I will always do stream repairs to some extent. I don't know what I'll do, but I have a little bit more time to think on it today, so I'll try to do something maybe a little bit bigger. I like doing them. I do like doing them. I just hadn't done one in a long time, so I wasn't prepared. I wasn't mentally prepared to do one because they just were something I hadn't done in a long time. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, she's got a funny smirk. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Now, slowly, I'm going to have her drop her arms first. I think before she starts looking down. Just gonna do one more of these. This will be the difficult thing for me, is like kind of getting this motion. figuring it out. I think there's going to be a lot more motion in this than I anticipated, which is fine. It means I'm going to have to do it. Oh, shit. Wondering what was going on. Felt like that onion skin was weird. I mean, that's not a bad kind of onion skin to have. It's just very difficult to work with, I feel like. I don't quite know what to do with that information. I don't actually quite know what I'm supposed to do, knowing that frame is where it is. Doesn't really help me. I don't know what doubling up on frames really would do for me like that. I guess it could help if you're like doing a repeat action that returns back to a previous state, but want to do it like in a different pose or a different spot, but you want to know exactly where that last spot was. You want to make sure that they land at the same spot, but maybe they do a different thing. I could see that being useful for that. That's some expert. Start moving that down a bit. Sometimes I gotta remember, I just gotta try things. Gotta try things sometimes. You can't know if something's gonna work if you don't know if it's going to work or not. You know? You just try something, at least you're trying it. At least you're trying it out and seeing if something happens. That was actually pretty close. See, this is where this is helpful. That goes to the right spot. That. Gonna do that. Do hate allergy season. I mean, I think everybody who has allergies hates allergy season. Don't have allergies, I'm glad for you. So I think, I mean, this happens every year, and I do think it is like being reported now that allergies are just generally on the rise. And I don't even think that's because people actually have more allergies. I think that's just because of the shift in climate has caused trees to behave in such a way that there's literally just so much crap in the air that if you aren't clogged up by it, that's a surprise, right? Like, there is so much bullshit in the air now that you're probably going to have some kind of reaction to it. Kind of impossible not to. At least to me, it would be. And if you don't, I'm glad for you. It does make me wonder at this point that I'm like, could I find somewhere in the world that I won't get all stopped up? I have a feeling that it's an island in the middle of the Pacific if I'm going to do that. My body is designed to exist on an island in the middle of the Pacific, not surrounded by cottonwood trees. That's the thing is like how many allergies I bet aren't even because allergies, but because one's body is not fundamentally expected to be in that environment, right? Or at least not permanently. I mean, I guess it goes to show, though, that our ability to adapt is still strong enough that it's like, well, it looks like I have to take a crap ton of allergy medicine and I'm not dead, so, you know, that I get. Allergy season sucks. I don't think I need to say that for anybody to agree. Miss anything. This is something I'm going to try to do more is, okay, so, like, okay, I did that. Zoom out. Any details I missed, just draw them. Are there any details that I missed that I can just draw in myself without I have to look at the onion skin? There might be stuff that is just new on this frame that wasn't even easy to see with the onion skin. Then that actually need to do like that. I mean, for me, this is the challenge of animation, right? Like, how do I keep this flowing? I need this to go down a little bit more. Is that too big? Feels too big. Do what works. So I drew it, right? That's right. Shape, size. This is something apparently I need to get better at, is just, generally speaking, being willing to manipulate using actual digital tools. I think that's something I really struggle with, actually, is actually using digital tools to my advantage. Part of the reason for that is I feel very uh set in that I want to like prove that I'm like, I can just redraw it. I grew up with a lot of physical medium, so just set like, but clearly this is designed in a way that I should be doing that, right? Like I should be getting in there and being like, wait, I just need to move it and whatever. And like redraw what I need to redraw. But like actually no, I should be utilizing that element. It would help me, you know? I will say I've gotten much better at my like hand coordination discipline. Uh Being able to manipulate the the widths of lines has helped me a lot. Being able to control that, not something I was really trying to do before. Being much more direct in how I place things, because I grew up very like sketchy. So like a lot of times I would be like, to make a shape, I'd be like doing stuff like this, right? Like, I'd be build it out, build it, build it out, build it out, out, out. You know, like I put a lot of emphasis on not really worrying about the impressions of where I put things and just being like, I'll erase or fix it later, right? Like, I just was trying to get things on paper. And like that works fine, especially if you're going for a sketchier look, but sketchiness is not necessarily something that works well when it comes to really, really fine graphics and stuff. Like, for that, I really, really needed to hone in on my actual ability to like put a line where I want it, right? Like, can't I can't be super sketchy. I'm trying to be much more deterministic on where I want to put certain kinds of things. And again, like, there's nothing wrong with being sketchy like this, but you have to use it for when you need it, which is when you're sketching. You know, fine to have like this kind of style when I need it, but I've become much more reliant on actually being able to say like, no, I can't just futz a piece into its shape. I have to be deterministic on where I put stuff a little bit. That is far okay. Okay. I learned a lesson there. Don't do that again. Or at least if I'm gonna do that on a different layer. That way I can just delete the whole layer. Noted. But I just wanted to show something. I just wanted to show what I was talking about. There we go. There we go. I gotta fix your eye. How'd your eye get messed up, lady? Seriously though, I thought I made a circle. I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes I just have to let it be. It's gonna be. I mean, this is where my kind of like illustration background really comes in handy because illustration is much less about, again, like drawing per se, and is more about trying to put lines and put shapes correctly. Its illustration really hinges more on where you put things and not what those things, not how those things are placed, right? Like it's actually a little bit less medium based. Oh no, I made a mistake. Forgot about the button. See, now this is where something like this would be useful because I need to see that button. And now, oh wow, okay, I learned something. So that one is covered still. That one isn't. That's the use of that. I learned something here. That's quite useful, actually. Like, especially for a detail like this, where I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Now the button's back, and the button will be in the right spot. Also, what a weird, cool effect. that I found on accident. I don't think I'll ever use it, but neat. Okay, that's what I wanted. I think it was having a little bit too much overlap. I was like, why can't I see where that's going? That's why. That's why I can't see where that's going. Because it's kind of being weird. Shit. Good work. Eat your art. Part of the thing is knowing when to say, oh shit, I put that in the wrong spot, and just do it again. Thing I have to learn still. I'm learning it, but I need to. I was about to say, I was like, where did my picture go? And I mean, there's a certain amount of needing to fight the hypnosis. This is a little bit of drawing hypnosis that I think people run into, especially when they're doing slightly more tedious work like this, where you're working on, say, like, tween or something. Where you're like, I don't know. There's a little bit of that, like, I just got to do the tween, or I just got to do the shape. And it's like, well, you got to do a little bit more than that. Can't let yourself get too caught in it. Trying something really fast. There we go. I don't know if this is gonna work. Whoa! I didn't mean to do that. That just looks cool. I didn't mean to do that. That just looks. It just looks neat. Well, shit. I'm not done with that frame then. Yeah, I like that detail. I like that detail, and I'm making a little bit of progress, I think, for the 2 frames that I've made. Funny is I feel like I did make a little bit more progress than I expected to, even as little as I have so far. Said I actually finished the frame. Actually, I need to do like that needs to start moving down actually a little bit. So this needs to be down here. Maybe? Remember, when I erase something, I need to erase all of it. None of this half erasing artifact BS. I gotta do the whole thing. Gotta do all of it. There we go. There we go. One more there. I like that. Hasn't really started looking down yet. Nothing's really changed there. This is why I gotta stop the line there. Oh no. Again. Again, but right. The hard part. Do it again, but right is the hardest part. Ever. Careful. The lines go where you mean them. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Very, very good. Very glad. There we go. Glad this is coming along well. I need to add more. Keep drawing. Sometimes when you don't know what to do, you just gotta keep drawing. Oh, animation. Honestly, I just need to keep on drawing ahead until I get to a spot that I'm happy regarding. how much motion has happened. I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there. The hardest part for me. Can be. A lot of trial and error. So certainly a lot more than I expect. I mean, that's what a lot of this has been. It's trial and error and figuring out how to finally get a lot of this animation to stick. And I think I've gotten some really good progress, which has helped a lot with that. Like, I've been able to focus a lot on growing elements of my animation that have been hugely, hugely, hugely important to improving a lot of my skill. Doing so, been able to get a lot more progress on a lot of these projects, which is really nice. Like that. We're gonna do slightly like go for the tween. Gave myself plenty of space to be able to make adjustments. And I mean, this is kind of the advantage of being able to use a digital medium as opposed to physical. Because, geez, being able to just to take something and then just move it, very very nice. It is very very nice. It's a nice thing that you're able to do in digital medium that you can't really do in a physical medium as easily. There are ways to definitely go about doing it, and what's funny is when I was doing when I was learning about like physical medium editing, so much of it is still using principles that feel like apply to digital, but digital is just easier and more forgiving with them. You really do have moments where in physical medium you just are physically cutting, like physically using a pair of scissors, physically using something and then taping it or gluing it back together. Like that is a thing. It turns out that a lot of media manipulation is just about that, manipulating media. It has nothing, it has absolutely nothing to do with the limitations of that medium. It's finding a ways to overcome those limitations to continue to use those basic functions that make it possible to make things. What I have learned, at least what I have noticed, things like image editing and stuff, like it's existed for forever. It just wasn't done digitally. It was still done. I think it, and kind of like realizing that a little bit helped put put certain kinds of things in perspective for me when it comes to just working in any medium. A lot of things aren't as different mediums that you work with, and I think sometimes we think they are just because it's a different medium. That's all right. Yeah, that looks right. I think I've also just been working a lot. Like I said, I'm gonna probably, however long I stream today, I still have to finish, and then I'm gonna be like, well, now I have to go do that. But at least, I don't know. I feel like last week I had a crash. I had crashed out real bad. And I needed it to a certain extent to be able to be like, but also that's not great. It doesn't feel good. I don't like it when that happens. I really don't. Like I like being able to keep up with myself, or being able to hold myself to like a, well, even if I'm tired, I'll at least try to do something, or I'll at least poke at something to make at least marginal progress. Last week I was done. I was done by Saturday. There's a certain part of me that like woke up today and still was just like, not so much that I was not going to do anything. I just was like, man, I got so much crap I need. Not a great thing to be thinking, trying to get ready to do something like this. Because now I'm not focused on this. I'm thinking about the things that I have to do after this. I'm like, well, that doesn't help me at all, actually. That is unhelpful. Really, I just need to focus on doing this right now. All I need to do is focus on this right now. That's really all I need. What? Like that. I want her to be fiddling with something is really all I want to do. And one of the things I'm trying to really keep myself from doing that I see a lot of animators do when they start doing is they actually are almost too deliberate. They're not willing to cut an animation short, or shorten an animation, or keep things brief, or do multiple actions at the same time. There's a lot of animation out there from really promising artists that I see that I think one of the things that I'm like, I want to learn from that they do a lot that I don't want to do is when you do animation, animation is about all motion. And in reality, when you move your body, when you move, you don't just move one part at a time. Usually, whenever you're doing something, you are using multiple parts of your body. You are moving multiple parts of your body together and independently at the same time. So, what I want to like show here is when she goes to move her arms down, she's going to start fiddling with her hands at the same time that she's readjusting her elbows, the same time that she's readjusting her head. Like you don't have a motion there where that's like very robotic, right? Where she puts her arms down, then moves her head down, then starts fiddling. I want that all to be action that happens at the same time because that's actually how people move is you move your hands, your head, and you settle at the same time in slightly different timings. Like you do it simultaneously but not all at the same time and not independently. Not like one action at a time. And that's something that I want to try to avoid. Is that kind of like step by step, like right? Like I feel like that's one thing that I wanted to capture here, where I felt like the arms were going like too slow, right, or like too fast, or I needed to adjust it. Was I felt like the arms were motion wise getting up a lot slower or not correct compared to everything else, and in reality, the amount of time that it takes to do one action and another action should be roughly the same if they're two independent actions of each other. If their like motion actually really isn't dependent on each other, then they should be done relatively at the same time. I would think. Also need to grow her eyes. Oh, her eyes are a little small. Kind of shrank. Very touchy. Being very detail sensitive. Not necessarily a good thing. Slowing me down. Don't get caught in the details, but don't let the details escape you. That's what I try to fit. Is don't forget about the details, but also don't let the details keep you from making progress. Thought I heard something. We're good. God, if the bird is back. Oh, that bird. No, I won't. I'll be nice to the bird. I hate that the bird keeps on finding a way into my walls, but I'm not gonna fight the bird. The bird's just comfy inside my walls. You know what, fair enough. I don't like that you're getting in my walls, buddy. Really don't like that. Like to be inside my walls. Belong. Belong inside my walls. Sorry, chat, you don't belong in there either. It's just not very well ventilated. I'm sure it's not good for you. We're just at a really weird point with everything. I'm at a weird point with my own life, history, life right now. History right now is happening every day, and I kind of hate it. And it's been a time. Been a time. Right now, the best I can do is two things: is continue to push on and animate, and try to be supportive of things, to which I wish the luck and safety to my friend and all of everyone today. Um, they're actually out trying to do their part, and I appreciate that. And I told them that I would try to say something, to which everybody make sure that if you can, try to do something to help. Try to do something to help the people around you. There are now becoming more and more openly social movements to be able to try to do things, and I appreciate that, and I'm here to simply just say if one of those resonates with you, you should do your best to support it, no matter what. As I will. As I will try to be vocal about trying to encourage people to do that, because God knows we need it. I will not be available next week, though, so just so you know. And we will get into that later. But anyone out in KC right now, who's out in KC today. Hope you are safe. I hope that everything went well, and I hope that we can start hopefully getting things to be better. No buts. I know it's easy to be like, it won't, but you gotta try. We gotta try, guys. It won't get better if we just think it's going to get worse only. That's the thing, is I totally agree and understand that things will get worse. Oh, things will get. We can't get things better if we don't think they can get better either. So, yes, things will go bad. Things are going bad. Things have been bad. We gotta work to make it better. I agree with that. And trying to think about that more a lot, though it is very exhausting in its own right. I am always here to advocate that when shit getting shitty, people got the right and should be trying to do their best to do something about it. That's all. That's all I have to say on that. I don't know. If that doesn't seem like a lot or much, I just know I'm trying my best without losing my mind. That's the other thing, is like, always try your best without losing your shit. It's really easy to just let it be completely debilitating and stressful all the time. There has to be a way to find a medium. There has to be. And I want to voice that. I want to voice that I'm going to be trying to be a voice for that medium of, we should be doing everything that we can. You should be. I will support it, and I will try to find resources to be able to do so. I've even started. I brought back I had a charity bot. I had a charity bot for Ukraine, which actually I did not realize was off. I think I turned it off because it was having too many things pop up in general. So I'll try to think about that. But I did turn one back on. That is about information about actually like a nationwide protest that will hopefully be happening next week. That I probably think actually. And with that in mind, like, stream's still active. That was weird. I'm gonna ignore that Animate said that. Oh, at least they gave me the opportunity to save. Well, that's nice. Still weird, Animate. That's still really weird. Animate, I don't know why you did that. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. I might mention it one or two more times. The big thing is like, I just want to make it a point that if you're doing anything out there, like with all the things going on, we don't got to discuss it in specific at the moment. Not really what I want this platform to be. I want this platform to be about trying to support things. Animate? What do you... Okay, there you are. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not being... I'm at a point, I guess, where I'm like, I want to start testing the water and seeing where I need to be able to hold at least some ground without being like immediately, I don't know, man. Tough spot. It's a tough spot. Absolutely, I think there are things happening that need to be addressed and need to be looked at and need to be absolutely outspoken against. So, and I think for me, what's important is I need that to be voiced to the people who want to do something, who can do something, who will do something. I don't know what else to do next, and maybe that will just be discussions on my own about stuff like that. But for now, what I want to focus on is, hey, you want to do something? This is what I've found. This is the information that I've found. This is how I would like to help. That's how I want to start off. And if there's more that I can do, I will try. But for now, baby steps for me, at least, is to be able to just see if I can get myself and the people who want to get involved to get involved. Because for now, I think it's more important to try to show that people do care enough to want to try anything. Make sure that people are And I think a lot of people are. I think there is slowly growing to be more and more people. And I think what matters to show is that people are vocalizing that, hey, we need to care about this less than who isn't doing something. I think that the still for me the wrong thing to do for any given moment in history is to be like, this is your fault. What's more important is to show, hey, this, even if you were responsible for this happening, we're all in this fucking boat. I'm more concerned about the boat. So if you want to help, show that you we need to show that it's worth helping. I don't know. I think it's more important to care about how people can make a difference than care about the people who are making a difference negatively for me right now. I think it's more important to make sure that the people who are trying to make a positive impact on things get that no matter what. That's all I want to say. Like I'm not trying to play both sides either. I'm trying to be like, what matters to me right now mattered to me when we did our special um you know drive for Ukraine. And back then, like, what concerns me more is that the people who are caught in a situation are being validated for their situation, not the people who are doing things wrong. Well, I should have really made an exclamation link to it. Maybe I'll do that next time. Part of it is I was, if this seems a little half-cocked, well, I'll admit it is. And again, I think that where I am at with a lot of things, yes, I will keep being vague because, again, I think it is more important for me, my mental health, people around me that I care about, is that I show that I'm here for genuine support to do everything that I can, and that I am not trying to play anything. I am either A, not personally directly educated enough to be able to make informed statements and decisions on things, and also that my action is what I care about more than what I can say. I kind of that message is what I want to make sure to make clear is like, I'm not here to tell anyone anything. I don't want to. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I feel like I'm good at, and certainly has felt less positive to me than anything else because oftentimes I will very easily misinterpret things or even sometimes not even understand them. But matters more to me is less of any of that and more of what did I what am I doing? What have I done? Oh, trying to figure that out. Trying to figure that out. Anyways, times are being times. Great. Glad that the times are being times. At least it's just boring, I guess. God, I wish. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling whatever's on my mind. The reality is I'll actually admit something. I have a good trait that has a bad habit. I think my rambling is good for the stream, except when the only things on my mind are things that I'm like, why are the only things on my mind this? I want to just have dumb things on my mind like I normally do. Or things that are on my mind that are ultimately interesting but not necessarily anything important. Like, And I mean that. Like, even game design and stuff. I say that they're not important in the sense that, they're important to me, and I like to hypothetically think about them, and I do want to be able to apply them to more directly important things to my life, but I'll admit they're not controversial, and they're not opinionated, and they're not me trying to make some kind of hard stance. I don't like making hard stances, I guess. I don't know. Because I think what I have developed over time is an apprehension of trying to take a hard stance on things because it just leaves you open for criticism that I just am never prepared for, and I don't know how to handle it. Don't know how to interface with to be constructive, and always feel like all it ends up being is a way for someone to pick apart a faulty mindset that I recognize as faulty that I just don't know how to process, I guess. I run into that far more than I think even people realize, and I feel like I really, really struggle with it. And it's really frustrating since, well, I just want everything to chill the hell out. That's all I've ever wanted is for my life to chill out. I want things inside my life to chill out, and I want things outside of my life to chill out, which has not still really been the case, and has only gotten less chill outside of my own control of everything. So it's like, yeah, I can only say all this. Why? I also think that right now, online stuff is very volatile, and I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out. That's its own mess. That's like becoming a little bit clear to me is that online stuff, I mean, will always be volatile. It's kind of like the nature of the beast kind of situation. But the problem with that for me, it's really frustrating, is like, man, I get that it is that way for everyone, but who knows? I don't know. There is a little bit of a psychic damage going on every now and then that I'm like, boy, you sure do work a lot. Yeah, I do. Worth it? Yeah. Wow. Like, really? And that sucks. I feel like I'm constantly have to fighting off dumb comparisons of stuff that I'm doing. Brain sucks. Human brain sucks. I kind of hate having it, but I also know that I should have it. It kind of sucks. My human brain doesn't do a very good job sometimes. My human brain doesn't do a very good job on certain things that I'm sometimes not given a break on, too. And I still to this day am a little like, man, I don't know. My brain just didn't think that. My brain just didn't see that. My brain saw only what I guess it wanted to see. I don't know. Which is kind of a tough thing. I don't know how people don't just be like, oh, they probably just really didn't understand. They didn't understand because their brain is different. The brain chemicals didn't tell them the right thing. I don't know. My brain chemicals lie to me all the time. It's great. I don't know. I think it's more of that feeling of like people. I don't think anyone would be like, yeah, it happens to everyone. Well, it's like if that's the case, then why do people get so weird about it? We're all informed on different things. We're all informed on different things. Always have to remember that. Never forget that people have different information all the time. People have different information all the time. Can't know everything. Try though. I can try though. What is he talking about anymore? Why is he saying any of this? Where are the jokes? I don't know, man. Help me find jokes. Jokes went store, buy bullshit. Haven't come back yet. It is a thing that I hope is something that can become something that people will accept at some point about me, is that I want to be able to joke about things all the time. And sometimes my brain is just a brain that goes, oh man, you got all this shit. And I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I know. Go away. Like, it is difficult. I think there's just always this kind of, for me, this feeling that people don't give me a break sometimes when I just kind of need it. When I see people give themselves or each other breaks all the time. I don't know. I think that's probably why I've developed some aversion to people in general that actually has really nothing to do with introversion and has more to do with I just genuinely am have a hard time around people sometimes because I feel like I've gotten better at interacting with a lot of people, but I still always am a little nervous whenever I don't know if I am misinterpreting something. It seems like people's reaction to misinterpretation has nothing to do with that. I don't know. I'm just being weird. I don't know what to talk about. I'm just talking. I think I'm just also a little bit scrungly. Scrungle is happening. Oh, my eyeballs. Like I said, I mean, I'm kind of like glad, and this is where I'm at a bit of a weird spot where I'm like, I have days like this where like this is what's on my mind. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. And I'm like, but why? I don't actually want to talk about it. I want to focus on drawing. I want to focus on being a goofball. Um, why don't you have anyone to talk about it with? Feel like I've done a lot of talking recently at the same time. Too much talking recently, actually. Part of me does wish I wasn't having precious brain processing taken up by a lot of stuff right now. I want to be head empty. And I don't want to worry about this. No buts. That's what I want. Or at least worry less about them. Or at least be in a place where I can worry about them in a way that I can be combative or constructive. Ugh. I feel like recently I've actually had a lot of struggle trying to be like more just operant, I guess. I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of pressure on me recently. Undue pressure that's causing me to backslide a little bit, and I'm noticing it. I think that's actually what's stressing me out a lot. Is why I'm probably talking about this a lot. Is I'm like noticing it, and I'm like, I want to make it like, I want to be like, no, 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 I see it too, I see it too. Like, trust me, I see a lot of stuff that's happening inside my brain. It's not great. Again, no buts. Like, I see it too. I'm trying to do something about it. Trust me. Yeah, I am. Trying to be aware of it and trying to stay, trying to handle it. Trying to handle it. Might be a lot of stuff going on inside the old noodle, but I see it. Perfectly aware that my brain is being a bit of a shit recently. Really, I just still want to make sure that what matters is that, I'm getting this done and I'm getting progress in what I'm doing. Like, and I am. I am. So that's still what really matters is that the animation is going well. This is going well. I'm the things that are growing and they need to grow and they need to continue to grow. Just need to be a little bit more patient, I think. And I feel bad in a certain sense because I feel like recently I've gotten a little bit of a reputation, especially amongst my friends, that I've been really impatient or really frustrated. And I'm like, and I mean, like, I think I've always kind of been that way a little bit, but I wasn't always that way. And I feel a little guilty about it, really. I never was this easily frustrated by that much. There's just something about when I got out of high school, like, by the end of high school, I had already lost all patience with everything. And I'm trying to, like, really, really regrow that for myself. Like, really, 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 really trying to regrow that for myself. And it's been tenuous. I feel like I'm still trying to be more patient than I have been. I still feel like I do have more patience than a lot of people that I've ever uh, generally, like generally speaking. But I also could tell that I lose my patience in some ways, like really, really easily. But I will actually admit, like, oh man, it's hard to keep patience when there is this constant deluge sometimes of stuff inside my control, outside my control, and I hope everybody feels this way, but at least I'm trying. I really am. I mean that. No buts. Like anytime I lose my patience is not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't want it to be a thing. So I'm recognizing it. Recognizing it and just trying to on trucking. As a wise man once said, wait and hope. Sometimes you just gotta wait and hope. What a good book, by the way. If you have not read The Count of Monte Cristo, everybody should. It absolutely was a good. It was good that I read that in high school. Very, very good book. I also didn't know it was the same writer. I'll have to probably check out the Three Musketeers at some point. John told me about that, and I hope. I did not know. I did not know that was actually the same guy. I really didn't. Um, I need to get back on. I started a book. I might start that today while I'm doing some other stuff. I might get back on Nostromo, which is quite good. Quite typical, if I do say so. A little uncanny, the topics it's handling, but ain't that just the way? Ain't that just the way with certain things? I think. One more. It doesn't even make sense what her hand is doing. I'm working through it. I might do some more tweens with it. Just putting stuff on paper. I want her to be fiddling for a while. Thing. And honestly, at some point, I might try a much more cut down animation style. I mean, I've seen it where people do really, really simple things. And I mean, like, that's the benefit of having a simpler. There's something to be said about having a simpler design will make it a lot easier to animate because what you are doing means it'll take you less time to draw specific shapes. It doesn't necessarily mean that the animations have to be simpler. I mean, this is what I'm. This is what makes Nichijou work so well, right? Especially a lot of its simpler animation is much more dependent on utilizing its kind of shorter scope designs to evoke more grandiose animation, since a lot of that can now be rediverted to the actions that are happening instead of the physical designs of the characters. You don't have to do as much with the characters because there's less to draw on the characters overall. But the actual motions, the actual stances, the actual poses they take can be much more exaggerated in a certain sense or be much more easily manipulated. Making designs that are easy to manipulate in animation is usually more ideal than just making good designs or making really good looking characters. Ultimately, you need that thing to move, and if it's too hard to draw, then what's the point? That's why a lot of this I'm trying to focus on much more consistency of her. That's why I'm like, I don't really. If I go back in, I will go back in to add details, but the details are not there from the start. I need it to be as simple as possible to make sure that the thing that works is the actions first. Details come later. Bigger actions all still need to work first. That's what's important right now. Getting things on paper. And I mean, every time we come back to this, I make some pretty good progress. I make some genuinely really good progress, I think. I make a little bit more progress on where she is. I am always pushing it forward. Good. And now that I'm taking this time slot to do this, I think this is for the best for like bigger projects like this. Why didn't you do Gartic Phone yesterday or today then? I don't know, man. This is the struggle with me. I thought Gartic Phone was important. Yeah, but so is Helldivers. So is the Hunt. So is Monster Hunter. So is Xenoblade. There's Xenogears. Wow, not that important. You said the wrong game. Oops. Um, yeah, like I all of the things that I'm doing are like super important and like I only have so many days I've allotted and I'm almost like I need to take a day. I need to remove a day coming here soon, I think. And like by the end of this year I want to be able to reclaim one full day. Honestly. Sunday is not enough. I need to have probably 2 full days for chores and chores and chill. I need chores and chill. Like, and that's hard to do, man. Very, 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 very difficult. I think a lot of people do struggle with it. I'm not here to say that I'm alone on that, but it is something that it's like, I don't know. But on the flip side, I'm like, I really want to try to be putting in as much effort as I can to expand this. It needs to. I need to. No buts. Also, like, I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything that I can, and I'm glad that it is showing something. It's just been weird a little bit recently. Consistency is still something that I'm like, how does that? Just in all honesty, it's very, very weird. Like last week, I think like I got a lot of people who were just chilling. So, what happened? Is everything okay? I'm glad you're okay. But yes, always yes. Here, there. I don't know if you heard anything that I said earlier. I was like, I just want to be able to give people the resources to do what they can to try to make a difference. That said, if you say that here, I'll be like, I agree. No buts. Welcome. I hope you're okay. I hope everything's okay. I hope it went well. Maybe not. It's only 12:30. Wasn't it supposed to go to 2? Well, here. Watch. I don't know if this would help. Watch this. Watch the silly person move. Take a moment. Exactly. I would say it's like two ways, right? I think one of my still aversions is like, if someone was to come in and say the opposite, immediately I'd be like, that's not allowed and then ban. So that is still its own messy philosophical bullshit. But still, it's hard for me not to be like, no, I agree. Fuck that shit. Like, that's why it sucks. It's like, I can't be that way no more, though. You're not wrong. I can't be that way. I have to do something. I absolutely agree. And I hope that it went well, and I hope that next week is still on. I am still down for that. So, yeah. You should never be afraid to say that. That is totally fair. Absolutely. Should never be able afraid. You should never be able to be afraid of saying fuck fascists. You're right. Wow. I did have a moment there. I was like, so is he gonna say the thing? And I was like, yeah, well, I literally just say the thing. I literally just said the thing. Might as well show at least some of my balls. Wait, don't take that out of context. Hey, jokes came back! Yay! I just had to show some of my balls. No! But really, fuck fascists. And I know that it was a hot topic here. I think my line is obviously not so much that I will get the stream in trouble, but I'm like, we still need to say something, so I agree. And also, yeah, fuck Nazis. Because the context is always important there, right? That shouldn't be something that should be hard to say. Anyway. But welcome. I've been having a long-winded philosophical talk about myself, so this helped actually. Thank you. And I think that's what's important, is I think to be able to show that people will actually have the courage to say things is to remember that you need to have people. Like, sometimes it's hard to say something on your own. It genuinely is. It genuinely is. And now I know that is its own dangerous philosophical thing, but it is still a fact. It is hard to say things on your own. It is. It can be scary and dangerous. I want to actually be honest about that. I understand that. It can be dangerous. Like, it is harder to say something if you feel like you are going to be putting yourself in danger and not have support for it. It is easier to put yourself in danger if at least you know that you're not just on your own with it. And I think that's what's more important to me, to be able to say, like, hey, we need to be doing things and there are things going on. So I didn't make, unfortunately, an active link to pull up. I should have done that, but my brain was still kind of even getting ready for today anyways. But I did at least, hopefully, if Nightbot will wake up, will make an auto message at some point. So I do apologize for that. I'll try to make an active one by Monday. That'll be my project. Like right now I just have something. Thank you. I at least have something though. That will also pop up as people are talking. So as for me, I also am more on this on the stance, I feel like, of like what I really want to be able to provide is, if we can talk about it, we should, but generally speaking, just being able to have it there for people to be like reminded and stuff is also really valuable and important to me, to be like, always remember, like if you like see that message and you're like, oh, I didn't think about that, or oh, let me check that out. I think that's also important to me too. Like to be like, show that we do care even if we're not talking about it all the time. Because I also don't think we should be talking about it all the time, in the sense of that will drive us crazy. It'll make things harder in its own way. But we should still be talking about them. I'm not denying that either. All the time though, I'll lose my fucking mind. I will get even more sad. But being able to have it at least present is more important to me at all. Like that still matters to me. And maybe, listen, I know we were talking about it. Might be almost soon. If I'll put it this way, and if this is something that might incentivize them also to try to put this in a way that's like as it help them, encourage them to rejoin sooner. Might be time for a season 2. Might be these are honestly the best time to do these charity things is unprecedented times like this for awareness. That's what I want to do them. Last time we did was the start of the literal war in Ukraine, so say it might be close to that season 2. I know we've been discussing it the last couple years, and I would be interested in doing another Fighters for You. I do think we're getting close to that point for me too, because those are the times that I want to actually be like, I want to talk about something. So that, as well as maybe do. And there's, you want to know what? I meant to post this the other day and I should have, because it was still for a good cause. There's a weird thing. I don't know if you follow the Vlog Brothers at all, but out of nowhere, one of the Vlog Brothers, the kind of more well-known of the two, and I can't remember his name because I'm bad at people, he like went out into nature out of nowhere, and he randomly posted like an update that he was like out on a hike or something, like he was on a trip or something. Like it seemed to be like just like kind of more vacation-y stuff, like he was just like taking a break or whatever. But he was like, I'm gonna do something, because he's actually a really cool guy. Hank's great. Hank's great. He's like, so I had a $1 million thought. I'm here. Can't remember where he was. I'm sorry. Very bad with details like that. He's out in the middle of the woods, found a waterfall, and he's like, a lot of people listen to ASMR. There's probably a lot of money that's like just generated from like ASMR white noise videos. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a 12-hour audio clip of this waterfall that I found. I'm gonna post it to the channel, and all revenue generated by this ASMR straight to charity. Genuinely the right use of ASMR. That's super cool, because obviously, like, his point there being, you know, like, if this helps make money, I'm gonna use that money for something and not just make money off of it. I think that's the coolest thing. Like, genuinely, it's super rad. I don't know why I didn't just post that the other day. I don't know. I had a weird moment there where I was like, why am I doubting? Why did I doubt? I don't know why I didn't just post it. I should have just posted it the other day, because I was also worried that for whatever reason you guys would be like, we don't. None of us listen to ASMR, Isaac, and I'm like, yeah, either, but that's not the point. I should have just posted it. I don't know why I was in my. I have noticed I've been a little bit more in my head recently, and I do apologize for that. It's been trying times for a lot of reasons that we don't have to get into. You know, been something. They've been something. Sure have. Eh. Hey, I've made progress on this. Honestly, it's looking really, really good. I I've really enjoyed working on this project a lot, actually. Like, it's come out really, really nice so far. I'm trying to work on. I have a little bit of shrinking here that I didn't intend with the eyebrows. Trying to beef them up a little bit. It's not too much is what I'm concerned about. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. Actually, yeah, that transition works really, really well. That's that thing I was saying is like I feel like a lot of animators sometimes when you see like a lot of amateur animators, and again, this is not a shade to anybody learning animation. This is me saying this is something that I've noticed that I want to immediately try to address with my own style. That I see a lot of animators do is there's a lot of this like stop and go, right? For any given action or like they can only focus on one motion at a time. And I really do want to make it a point that anytime that motion is happening, there's multiple points of motioning happening at the same time. And a big showcase of that is here, where both the arms folding and the arms unfolding is a fluid motion. It's not now she has to focus on unfolding her arms, because what that translates from is you're really hyper focused on one motion, so you're focused on drawing that one motion, you're not focused on drawing all the other motions at the same time or animating those motions at the same time. And that's just something I picked up on. It's something that when animators do it, it 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 does bug me. It's like a point of criticism that I recognize that I'm like, I want to avoid that at all costs, no matter what. Even if it has its own consequences that causes its own problems for me, I would rather be focused on what I notice other amateur animators doing that I want to be able to avoid for myself. Because I too am an amateur animator. That's the thing, is like, this is criticism as somebody who is just as much, if not more, an amateur animator than pretty much anyone else who's been animating, regardless for how long they've been animating, like, independently. Like, I'm an amateur too. I'm not. I'm working on building my tool sets to transition into being at least independently professional. But I am still amateur. I've every thing that I do though is with the intent of like, how can I better apply this somewhere? Could somebody look at this and go, well, what can you do next? That's what's more important to me. Is getting that point. Oh, beans. Got to draw a line. Oh yeah. Where did that line go? You ever just so this is something I run into sometimes where like this, I have like this detail and I'm like, not draw that. Very weird. Miss stuff sometimes, man. Believe it or not, animation, tough. Oh, that line happens. That's the problem line. This is the problem line right here. I don't even think it's a bad line. That's the problem. So, just need to figure out a way to translate it that way. More sense. Yeah, see, like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. Animation is about taking a part, which could be anything from an entire portion of a body to a single line, and saying, oh, I need to move that. That's what a lot of animation has become for me is. You notice something and you go, oh, that needs to move that way, not that way. That needs to go this way, not this way. Oops. It's all in the details. Sometimes. Animation is a lot of work. Animation is a lot of work. Maybe I do an animators for you. Honestly, I think Fighters for You is probably still going to be the best. I would love to do something like that at some point, though. That would be very nice. If I could get artists together to do something like that. That's kind of more of a longer term kind of thing. That I would hope pull off, but we'll see. But yeah, so much of my style, I really want to like be able to convey a certain amount of like action that is happening throughout an entire subject. I also just don't tween as much as I probably could. And by that I mean like, so tween animation is its like own thing. If you're unfamiliar, tween animation usually refers to when you have a static object or a semi-static object just be fluidly moved, physically moved from one point to the other. For now, this is all hand drawn. There is actually very little tweening that I do in my animation. Um, there's very little positional tweening that I do. Um, like the walk animation is not a tween. Not really. I mean, I guess it kind of is. It's a pseudo tween. The reason why I call it a pseudo tween is I'm when I drew that walk animation, I drew it fairly static and then physically repositioned each frame. So she wasn't tweening. Tweening would imply that her relative position to each frame stayed the same and that somehow she fluidly moved, right? Like she was treated like a GIF essentially. If she would have been a single multi-frame object that moved independently of however it moved, that would have been motion tweak. But instead, what I really did is I drew every single frame statically, like she was walking in place, like the camera was following her, and then I took each frame and physically manipulated and placed them spaced out. So technically speaking, she's not really tweening, because the placement of each frame is an independent image and isn't tied to the previous frame. It isn't. It is not a single object. They're each their own independent objects for each frame, and each frame is placed independently of each other. The reason why I bring that up is tweening is something that I still do. I seem to only do it when I'm doing video editing, which is interesting. Which is something that I might have to start looking into as a sort of hybridization of my tweening versus my non-tweening work. I feel like it is much easier to animate something in place. It is much easier to animate an object if it can stay on a pivotable axis. It is much easier for me to conceptualize and keep everything in the right spot, in the right proportions and everything. If you imagine that the camera does not off focus from the subject. It is easier for me to animate if I imagine that the camera is always looking dead center at that object. It is easier for me to do that. And then it is easier for me to take that object and physically maneuver it itself separate from the frame animation that's happening. That might be something I will have to try sometime, because it is something that really works with me, and where, weirdly enough, I might benefit more from making GIF animations and animate that are a single subject or whatever the subject is in place, and then importing them, because animate does have this, but I don't really know how to interface with it. But if I can import them just into, let's say, into Premiere, which is what I use for a lot of my video editing, where I do a lot of my tween animation, I import them there and then just physically have that positional animation happen there, where, like, okay, I have a subject, they walk onto screen, they have a walk cycle that they do in place, and then I physically move them in Premiere using the positional tween. I don't know if that's more work, if that's less work, if that's just style. That's my problem. Is like, there's probably something to be said that, like, well, that's really inefficient. You could have just not done that. But it's like, how much of style is just finding your own solution to a problem? And is that always the most efficient thing? Like, what differentiates doing something inefficiently and doing something with a sense of style? That is always something that I've kind of struggled with, because people treat it very nebulously. They treat it kind of nebulously. I feel like there's a lot of that feeling of, like, a lot of people just will say, one person, oh, it's just their style, when there could be criticism about it, and then somebody else would be like criticizing something very, very harshly when it could just be their style. Right? Like, but I think that's also subjective too, from person to person. Somebody might just be okay with the way that something looks, and somebody else will be like, well, that looks weird. I don't like the way it looks. And I personally, as an artist, have always kind of, like, been a little bit on an edge for that, because a lot of times I feel like I kind of struggle with that to a certain extent as an artist, of people kind of really making it difficult to feel like, oh, I can just do this because it's the way that I do it, versus, oh, I should be doing it quote unquote better or different because it's not good, or I don't know. This is what happens when you work a lot in an ultimately fundamentally subjective medium, where even the act of working on it is a little bit subjective. And everything's subjective with that. So Whatever. Everybody has different ways that they do things. So. There we go. I hate when you do that, even though it's an autosave and it's ultimately good for me. I hate when you do that. Animate. Damn it. There we go. I just hope I could finish this. No, I know I'm gonna finish it. No buts. Don't have to hope for something that I will do. Don't hope for things that you want to accomplish, because in doing so implies that you do not have the confidence to believe that it would be possible. That's not to say that things can't happen outside of your control. Sometimes the biggest thing to remember is things will happen outside of your control. To be able to accomplish anything is to understand that. Is to understand something will happen. Something will happen, something will go wrong, something will bust, whatever. What's more important, at least to me, is whether or not you continued just do things irregardless of that. Yeah, go wrong. Things will go wrong. Things go wrong all the time. Quit. Quit. I think that's always more important to me. It's easy to quit. Always easier to quit. Sure. Kind of doing something here because I want to add a little bit more motion. And the reason why is I want to make sure that she isn't just static. So I do think I have the timing right. I actually do think I have the timing right, and I want her to be fiddling for something for a while. And I got her in position like perfectly timed. Like the timing on her positioning is actually really well done. Really happy with actually. There we go. Slightly. Sometimes you just gotta go with a bit of a gut feeling on certain kinds. The biggest thing is I want to practice more of this hair movement. So I want her to at least like have a little bit of like subtle hair movement to show that she's not holding perfectly still. Maybe she's like trying to look at a different angle or like just generally just like kind of moving her head. Like I don't know. When I talk, I just kind of bob my head left and right. That might be because I have a head grig that has to move around and I want it to move around every now and then, or it just might be a personal tick or a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. But because of that, animation. That's animation right there, right? Like things are moving around, and I want to preserve that they're moving around, and nobody sits perfectly still when they're working on something. I don't. Who sits stone still when they work on something? I do not believe it. Absolutely do not believe there's anyone who doesn't fidget at least a little bit. I've never understood that. People fidget. Fidgeting happens. People fidget for a lot of reasons, intentionally and unintentionally. I don't know. It's never been something I quite have understood the like don't move at all. Unless I'm like trying to avoid being mauled by a leopard. Why do I need to hold perfectly still? No. I don't need to hold perfectly still. Nobody should be holding perfectly still. That's called being dead. I don't know about you, but that's not exactly good. Go better there. I want to show a little. I just want them to rock their head back, left and right. That's all I want to do. Is I want left to right movement with the head, and then that should be enough to be able to settle. It's that's too much chin. Really. Just a little bit of chin. You know how it goes. Hmm? going to do that. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. More subtle. Not be that much. I want to make it a point that she's like fiddling with something that's like clearly she's focused on whatever's happening in her hands. That's like being like it's giving you problems, not anything else. Oops. A line there. That fiddling animation actually looks quite good. Exactly what I'm going for. Do I know what's going on in her hands? That's for me to know and for you to find out. Real struggle of a real struggle of animation. Sometimes something happens off screen. What's happening? Something. Try to keep that arc going the way it's going. I want it to be something subtle. Ultimately, this is just like a really small motion that's supposed to be there to be like, she's not keeping her head still. She's not keeping her head perfectly still. She's just a little bit of something. Because in reality, people move their heads. People move their heads sometimes. No. She keeps their head perfectly still. At least I don't. At least I don't. Oh, shit. That. I didn't realize I did that. Oops. Do kind of need to. I don't know. I just gotta move her face a little bit more. Face didn't move enough. There we go. Gotta keep that. That the same. I just added a lot more motion than I thought I did. Oopsie. Ain't that just the way? I didn't mean to do that, but here we are. And actually, that, because I don't need to see the green until I start moving back that direction. I think it's distracting me. Moving it just a little bit. Okay. Again, keep preserving that motion. I need to do this, right? You over, like right there. Something like that. Fill the eyeball. Something like that. Put that there. I don't even know what I moved there. Glad it didn't break anything, but no idea what happened there for a second. Why did that shrink? Why did I draw it that way? Why did I do that? Sometimes you draw a thing and you go, oh shoot, I shouldn't have drawn it that way. Whoops. More like that. I think a little bit more like that. And in all honesty, this is probably a detail I shouldn't even worry about right now. But it's the kind of thing that there's enough motion in it that it's like, it's not like I'm adding a blink or something. To me, a blink is pretty easy. It's like, yeah, I already drew the eyes and anything like that. But like, that's like, nothing else is changing. I just have to change what the eyes are doing, what the mouth is doing. Like, very simple thing. This is like a whole head motion. I don't know. That's gonna be a lot more effort. It is a lot more effort. It's a lot more. That takes a lot more of my processing power. Figure out. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Face got morphed. The eyes. One of the eye. This eye got. I get. Oh, it's not moving enough, maybe? Ah, boy. Sometimes you just gotta throw your art away. I might have to. That might not be working. Hmm. Would have thought I would have just been able to move that, but apparently I'm having a little bit more trouble with it than I expected. Like, I was not expecting to struggle with this as much as I am now. Part of it is just that chin, weird shape. Fix it a little. That's better. Either need to throw away your art or you need to fix it until it actually works. These are always the things. Something looks weird. Always be willing to fix your art. Fix it or throw it away. There is no other option. Either make it work or do something different. Much better. Still think the head shape somehow got morphed. I don't know how that happened. Still is doing it a little bit, but do a little bit. This a little bit more. Be a little bit more narrowing of the eyes, maybe? Start moving that way. Start moving this way a little bit. Almost through. Honestly, I think I will only go for about 3 hours just because I need a little bit more of a break. I'm going to put it this way, I will always shoot for at least 2.5 hours for my last day of the week. And if I can get 4 hours, that's good. If I can't, it's whatever. Do what my brain can do. Don't push my brain harder than it needs to be pushed. And there's other stuff I need to do anyways, so. Like, I had a moment there. I was like, oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh, I should get some coffee. On my coffee. I will say, allergy brain is not helping. Allergy brain is absolutely not helping. I am being attacked by the allergy curse, so. That's definitely not helping me. Because of allergies. That witch. Aww. choose the worst times to autosave sometimes. Animate, and it really frustrates me a little bit, but it's fine. You're also really good at what you do, so I'm not going to complain, Anna. I'm not. Really could, but not gonna. Just kind of be fiddling. Just be fiddling. Just be hand fiddling. Hold this pose for like a couple frames. And even like clearly if I'm like, man, I feel like I'm a little bit still doing better than I would have been doing even a year ago. The work I'm doing now is by and large still an improvement from what I was doing even a year ago. Only gotten better at it. Matter. Sometimes that's all that matters. Are you still making progress on some stuff? That's a good oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Hold on, shift eyes. Eyes are gonna be shifting. Eyes are gonna be shifting. Eyes are gonna start shifting. Try some that. Not really much more direction that eye can go. So we're just gonna do that. This has to be subtle. There we go. Right on. Nope. Remember, things don't get longer as they stretch. And an important thing to remember is that nothing truly stretches like that. Actually, all stays about the same size. That's important to maintain. Which is something that I've had to really practice and get better at, is like trying to maintain that things don't actually change in size all that much. Difficult. Most subtle change. That. There's been an adjustment, but just like a slight adjustment in like the orientation of her head. Joke's on you, Silos. You missed it. Silos, you missed it. Been asking me to give her a little smirk, and you missed it. Yes, I did it. I made a tsundere. What do you want about it? Sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe you're just like characters who are nervous about. I just like teases. Maybe I just like teases. Tsunderes are very teasy, okay? I know. Tease jerks. I'm a huge tease. I like me. Rex judging me for wanting somebody to also tease, you jerks. Always remember though, fine if you enjoy teasing and being teased, just make sure that it's ultimately harmless and all for the goofs. Don't be mean. Don't be mean when teasing. I've seen that. I'm like, I don't get that, man. Be nice. Nothing wrong with teasing. You still gotta be nice. Emo and Mitchell still need to be nice. Hatcher got to be nice. Mean. For me, it's got to be about being playful, right? Sometimes I think people use it as an excuse to like genuinely be like kind of mean. That's not okay. I've seen that. Seen it happen. How are we doing? How far along are we on this? I'm curious. Boy, that fiddling is going to take a few seconds, isn't it? What if I... Because part of it is I want them to fiddle a little bit longer. I actually want a few more frames of them just fiddling. And this is what's good, is like I'm seeing here like, okay, before she starts tilting her head, I want a little bit more time. I want a little bit more time before she starts tilting her head. That's something that I definitely want. So how did I... That's interesting. I don't know how that works. Guess better to imply that there was a line there then. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I never thought about that. That's an interesting use of shadows that I've never thought about. That I need to be able to preserve. But yeah, I want more time with her, like, kind of fiddling with her hands, and then glancing at the viewer. So, like, a little, probably some more frames, and this could be something that I could experiment with, is seeing if I could make a repeating animation. Let's just see if I can do it. I haven't really done stuff like that before. Well, I have a little bit. Not much, though. You generally have this holding still, right? I'm gonna do this. Just going to... out here. What if I just copy it? Then need to copy frames. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to stay on evens. No, we're on evens. No, I need to stay on odds. What happens if I do that? Yeah. Nope, it's not that simple. What if I reverse it? Oh, that's gonna be... I don't think I could do that easily. Like, even if I paste an overwrite frame... Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm not skilled enough to be able to do... Well, that's not 100% true. Essentially, if I was to do that, I just need to finish the animation on a specific action. If I need to do repeatable animations like that, and that's a big thing, is to be able to do that, you need to be able to have an action that can be terminated and redone anyways. Like, that animation actually doesn't have an end, and then it starts. Where it starts is not at a good spot, because where it ends is in the middle of motion. That doesn't make sense. Ambitious, worth a shot, because now I know, okay, I need to do more work if I'm going to do something like that. Can't know that if I don't try stuff like that. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a little bit early today, though. Or at least earlier than I expected. I want to hit 3 hours. I wanted to hit 3 hours. That's what I accomplished. And in the future, I think I will always try to shoot for at least 3 hours. And if I don't have more stuff to do, if I'm feeling good, I'm going to focus. I'm going to at least always hit 3 hours. That's what I want. Okay. Bare minimum 2.5. General 3. Ideal 4. I do want to hit no more than 4. 4 hours in a single animation set. Just a lot of work. I got stuff I kind of need that hour back. I got to do a stream repair now. I am very close to finishing the reclamation. I've almost finished that. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm as soon as I'm done porting everything over, that's gonna be like one thing that I don't have to worry about anymore. And the next thing is actually going to be a little bit different. And I'm thinking about it. I need to check, but I have an external hard drive around here that I'm just gonna have to start saving certain videos to, and I'm gonna use that external hard drive for that. I might even like just delete the backup on it. We'll see if I have to do that though. If it has enough space, I might be able to just save all of those videos and then be able to slowly import them back onto YouTube that way too. But priority first, I either need to. No, I think priority first. I just need to download them somewhere, and I don't think I have enough space on my computer. But I do have an external hard drive somewhere around here. I even used it fairly recently, so I know I have one, and I might have to use it again. So we'll see. But we're getting close to hopefully finishing that, and then hopefully I can finish a video that I actually was almost done with and then got put behind because this happened with Twitch. Then once that's done, I could start working on this hopefully a little bit on my own time, because that's the thing is I don't intend to do more than one project like this at the same time. If I have off time, I dedicate off time to one project, and if I'm streaming, I dedicate one project to stream. Stream projects are always going to still be something art focused, something design focused. If it's a game, I'll open up a game engine and we'll work in the engine, whatever. But it will always be something actively that you guys can watch me do. Not you guys aren't gonna watch me save fucking stream VODs 3 hours. A, I can't do that due to certain limitations, and B, it's not worth no. And I can just do on my own. So I gotta do a bunch of stuff. Namely, go fix the Helldiver stream. But again, that was on me, and I was prepared for it, so fair enough. Otherwise, I'm gonna start closing down the stream. Thank y'all for joining. I hope you had a good time. I'm glad I was able to get some progress. I was able to get some progress done. No matter what, I was able to get some progress done. I feel like we didn't quite finish an action, which is, but I was working on a lot, and generally speaking, I think like getting another. Looks like I got about a little bit short of the same number of frames that I did last time done in a single session, and that's pretty good. About 3 hours to do. Let's see, how many frames? How many hand drawn frames? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's not bad. That's not bad. I guess ideally I should be taking about, what, 5 minutes a frame? That's where I need to get to, probably. But even then, like, I'm not here to be that strict on myself, and nobody should be. Don't be strict on yourselves when it comes to taking the time to do something, especially if it takes time. Take your time. Take your time to do things. Where I'm at with everything. Take your time to do. Don't like animation is going to take time no matter what. And as long as you're pushing forward, that's what's more important. And as long as you're pushing forward, and for me, the way that I work is even if I'm a little bit slower when I start something, I'm always trying to find ways to improve my process to make less time. Be just more like productive. Like that's always something I'm going to do on my own. But it's going to have to take time. It still takes time to get to that point. You're always going to take the time to do that, so don't stress about it. I try not to. Which is hard. It's also a hard place to get to. So, either way, I'm going to open up Bing Create, which is an image generator. We're going to make an image, and we're going to make an image before we raid out. If you want to participate, all you got to do is type in chat. Whatever chat says, we'll use as a reference. And I'll share that image before we raid out. So to get us started, having conflicting having conflicting inside thoughts while just trying to animate. Give you guys like 30 to 40 seconds to respond. Or add to that or anything. Of course you don't have to. I'll just do whatever no matter what. Ooh. Ideally, I want to do this until we find a point that this breaks. That's always the way that I'm going to work with anything. Doing anything, sharing anything, with any of my processes is I want to do it in a way until it breaks and then have to figure out what to do with it then. That's always important to remember, I think. When you do something that works for a while and suddenly it stops working, it doesn't mean that was anything wrong with the process that you're doing. It means something has changed. You gotta do something different. That's all. At least for me. Can't do the same thing over and over again forever if it stops working at some point. And it's always important to remember that at least parts of your process should be fundamental enough that you can at least rely on them no matter what. And sometimes it's okay to be like, I was doing something a certain way for a while, and I was even improving it. Then something happened and something changed, and that's not working quite the way that it is. Try to ascertain what still works, because 9 times out of 10, something still always works. You just have to change now. You have to modify from that base on some level. Do what works. When something doesn't work, you at least have to do what works. And always something does work. Oftentimes, you just gotta scale it back and take your time and not worry about why things that did work aren't working anymore. Easy to get caught on that, I think. Anyways, having conflicting inside thoughts while just trying to animate Canary opening a package. Because he doesn't care. All right, well, stick around. I'll also be doing a bit of closing a bit, and we do raid after every stream, so that way the daywalkers in our chat can keep watching. So everybody else out there, make sure to go lock your doors and windows, because it's almost lunchtime. Actually, no, you could unlock your doors and windows, because it's no longer... Nope. Well, yeah, it's no longer lunchtime for daywalkers. Thank you for joining, everybody. Hope you had a good time and you enjoyed the show. If you're able to join the live show, then you can stop by and chat and watching. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for taking the time to go back and rewatching the VOD. We appreciate it. If you're out there and you enjoyed this, you want to see more of what we're up to, I recommend scrolling down below and following or clicking any of the links below. Those are links to all my socials and everything that I post to, as well as a link to the Discord. We post when we go live on any one of those platforms, as well as anything else that we're up to, and you can just hang out with the rest of the community on the Discord. It's a good time in there. Speaking of which, a shout out to our community there and everyone who follows. You guys are a wonderful audience and we appreciate you. If we do anything particularly entertaining or noteworthy, feel free to clip it and share it on the internet. Just make sure also hashtag with MCCanary or link it back to the stream so people can find more of the good stuff we do here. And if you want to see the stream grow, you gotta let people know. I appreciate the people who've been talking about the stream, and I encourage you guys to do it more. It does help us out, and it's just super rad that you guys are willing to do that, and I'm just glad that we're doing things that you guys want to discuss and talk about, whatever it is. So, go tell people about the stream. Tell your friends about the stream. I won't. And as always, a huge thank you to Motrin, all of our supporters on Patreon and Twitch. Your generosity allows us to expand the stream as well as take on more projects, and the stream would not be made possible without viewers like you. We thank you. If you want to see your name added to this list, as well as a couple of the benefits you could get, you could always subscribe directly on Twitch or check out the Patreon page here. It'll show you everything that you can get, and any amount is always appreciated. Once again, thank you. And thank you to Amount to do a wonderful job holding back the door when I'm becoming famous. Thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out. Hope you had a good time. Hope everybody's doing okay, and I hope you all can always remember that there's good resources out there for being able to do your part and help things. It's important right now. So just always remember. I'll try to have more prepared as we get closer to next week. I won't be available next week yet. There will be more on that, but I digress. Also, check out the rest of her friends in Goblin Entertainment. That link tree has links to everyone's channels and everything that they've been up to, and the rest of my stuff here, which has everything that I post to. You should go check everybody out in Goblin Entertainment. Alright. Brad Vickers is actually playing Quake. We should go say hi to him. He just started. So we'll go say hi to him. It's the OG Brad Vickers, guy who played Brad Vickers' PlayStation 1 version of Resident Evil 3. He's a good guy. So everybody go say hi to him, as in he voiced him. I don't know why. Like, he voiced him. So everybody go say hi to him. Otherwise, have a good evening. Take it easy. And remember, your thoughts are your thoughts. You gotta do something about it. I think it's better at least to be like, I have thoughts. Remember to keep them objective when they're objective. Keep them subjective when they're subjective. Remember to even think, maybe I'm not always right for the thoughts I have. Doesn't mean you're wrong. Or even bad. It's just hard to figure out your thoughts sometimes. Brains suck. Like this. Now I find this interesting. One of these seems to be antivirus. This one, it's just how I felt today. I don't know how I feel about the hand. Where are they getting the comic book? Why is that box filled with spaghetti? It's a spaghetti box.